I'm Djembe Buchanan. Now last week, with great enthusiasm, I showed you the new randomization options that exist within the step sequencer, which are very welcome and very excellent, I think. And what we're going to do today in this episode is we're going to take that and combine it with the new playback options in terms of what we can do with rows within the step sequencer as well, which have also enhanced. So we ended up in a pattern place, which was a bit like this. And you can see that tantalizingly, we have some bass waiting for us as well. And in fact, just before starting the video, I was having a bit of a play with the drum kit. But you know what? We're going to recreate what this is doing. You're never going to get to hear it. What just happened? Okay, so what we're going to do is, as I mentioned in last week's video, of course, all of the pattern stuff that is excellent is available to any sound, not just sort of slightly ambient 8 light years from here synth sequences. And in fact, I'm going to mute that for a moment so we can just focus on drums for a moment. So of course, the step sequencer is a brilliant sort of tool to use in combination with any of the drum kits because it allows us to build drum parts in a way that's intuitive and fun and interesting. So I'm going to do that right now. And we're going to do that on the fly. In fact, maybe I will do this while the other part plays and we'll just put together a little drum part for a second. Mesmerizing, isn't it? But it always is. Okay, so what we're going to do is now mute this collection of ambient wibble up here at the top, and instead what we're going to do is to focus on these drums. So we've already explored all the randomization options which are available to us on every single row and for a pattern overall if we want, and that is exciting and good, and you should go back to last week's video if you haven't had a chance to watch that. What we're going to do today is to focus on the fact that there are some new modes in terms of how we can actually play back patterns. Now 4 of these have existed already. If I select this kick part, what we can now see is that there are 7 of them. So we already had forwards, backwards, ping pong, which was this one, and what this one does is to play forwards and then backwards, but crucially what it does is to play step 1 and step 16 every time. So it plays the first, it means that there is a guaranteed 16 steps whether we're playing forwards or backwards. If you think about it, if we just get to 16 and we immediately come backwards the other way, on playback in reverse we're really only going to get 15 steps, and what that means is that each time the pattern is going to be out of sequence. So ping pong got around that problem by making sure that the first and the last steps were repeated. That's important. We're going to come back to why that's important in just a moment. And then what we also had was shuffle. Now shuffle was as close as Logic had to a sort of random mode, but actually it had to play every step before it then randomized where it went next. So all 16 steps would play out of sequence, but until all 16 steps had played, another tongue twister, it didn't then move on. Okay, so those are the 4 modes that we've had forever. So what we now have is pendulum mode, which is this one here. Now this is very like ping pong mode, but it doesn't repeat steps 1 and 16. So it bounces off the end and comes straight back. So what that's going to do is to slowly put a sequence kind of out of phase with the ones that are playing underneath it. if they are either playing forwards or backwards or in ping pong mode. And that's kind of interesting because it's going to provide some pattern variation. It's going to be a nice thing to do. Then what we have is wander, which is an interesting new mode, which sort of snakes its way from left to right and then comes back and then moves on and then comes back. It's almost like there are 2 steps forward and 1 step back. It's kind of a bit more than that, but you'll see the way that that works in just a moment. And we also have a truly new random mode, which isn't interested in having to play all 16 steps before the next one happens. It's just going to go crazy and it's going to do its random thing. And that's going to be exciting. Now, to really demonstrate these modes, what I'm actually going to do is to program a djembe part right here, except that I can't be bothered. So I'm going to randomly generate a djembe part, and that was the part that I was going to add to the project, just like that. Or was it that one? Or that one? Or that one? Or that one? It was that one. Actually, I'm interested for a moment to hear Djembe 2. I like Djembe 2 more. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever muted a step of a step sequence before, but I've done it now. First time for everything, isn't there? Okay, so what we've now got is a randomly generated Djembe 2 part. And what we have a chance to do now is to explore how these modes work. So we know about forwards, easy. We know about backwards, also easy. I know, too easy, right? We also know from the past about ping pong mode. So I am going to just stop here for a moment. I'm going to put a step there, and we already have one at the end. So what ping pong mode has always done is this. And what we can see very clearly is that it's playing the first step and the last step twice. It bounces, plays it again, and bounces back. Okay, so how is that different from pendulum mode? Well, as I mentioned a moment ago, no more bouncing. And what that's going to mean, if I put another one of these patterns, let's say the hi-hat, into ping pong mode, is that these two are going to get out of phase with one another. If you're a kid from the 80s, there's something amazingly sort of early computer game about the graphics of that, isn't there? Anyway, we can see the two modes side by side doing their interesting things. And of course, in context, that's going to be quite interesting too, I think. That's a nice way of generating a little bit of variation. Okay, so let's come back into the djembe by itself for a moment. So we've seen what pendulum mode does. Okay, how about wander? So you see it sort of dancing and snaking its way from left to right, taking its time, occasionally reversing, going back the way that it came. Again, I think in context, that's going to be quite interesting. And it is, I like that. And then of course what we've got is our two sort of random modes. So this one, shuffle, which we had before, as I said, has to play all 16 steps. So it's going to choose one at random, but it's not going to sort of start its second cycle of randomization until it's satisfied itself that it's played all 16 steps. The new random mode just doesn't care. So I think all of this is really nice. We've suddenly got all of this new potential for something interesting. So if suddenly what we do is to bring what we learned last week and what we've learned this week kind of to bear on a beat pattern, we can do everything from total carnage, total randomization of the steps. That is not going to randomize the playback modes. It's just going to randomize the pattern. Or, as we've already learned from last week as well, what we can do is to come into any individual sound, find one parameter relating to the way that it might work. Let's suppose I wanted to create some variation in the djembe in terms of the velocities that it's playing, some a little louder than the ones right now and some a little quieter. What I can do is to right click, choose the range over which I want to work. I might decide that I want to start with velocities of 80 and I want to go up to velocities of 115. Forgot to press return there, and if you don't press return, bad things happen. So I can randomize those steps. What I could also do would be to say, okay, I'm also going to randomize the repeat options as well, so that I've got a chance to have individual notes produce kind of buzzy little interesting effects. I can do that for the djembe. I could also maybe do that for, I don't know, the rim shots. Let's do that where I'm in a position to just come down to the rim shots and just grab the chance option, and actually that's the chance that that note is actually going to play rather than the possibility that it's going to in some way repeat or do something unpredictable from that perspective. So I can choose a chance value, change the one that was offered via randomization, and then what I can do if I want to is to choose a randomization from a repeat perspective as well. And you can see, by the way, that that is randomizing every step, whether or not it's turned on or not. So I'm kind of waiting for this one to change every time I press randomization, but I can see that in the background other steps are changing. So if it turned out that actually what I wanted to do was to have a few more rim shots and I wanted to roll the dice and create some new ones here, then of course I'm in a position to do that. And of course very rapidly, if I want just carnage for the rim shot, I can go through and press all the randomization buttons for all of the available parameters and good things will happen, but it's not going to affect anything else within the pattern. For anyone of a certain age who's feeling a lot like that's kind of how their knees feel first thing in the morning, I apologise to you for that. But of course you can begin to see that the moment we start swapping modes out and we add randomisation, good things happen. So what I'm going to do without thinking too carefully is I'm going to choose different modes for a few different hits. Within the drum pattern, I'm going to select ping pong for the kick drum, the main kick drum, for instance. For the djembe, we're already in randomization mode. I'm going to choose that again, I think also for the, no, I'm going to go with pendulum for the hats, but I would quite like a few more hats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize this row until we get a few more of them. Nothing in beat 4, I like that. Let's just see what happens now. Now what's really nice, and we're going to go off script a little bit here, is that this rim shot is obviously nuts and the temptation now is to have less of it. But the great thing about all this randomization, allied to the new playback mode, is that I hear a sound like that now and I think, okay, there's something about it which is interesting. What is that and what can I do with it? Well, remember, as always, and this is why the step sequencer allied to any kit from Drum Machine Designer is such an amazingly powerful kind of production space, is that of course I can open up this track stack and I can come and find the rim shot, which is going to be here somewhere. Have I gone past it already? Yes, I have. Here it is. And I can do something to just this sound. And what I'm kind of hearing is that obviously it's way too loud, but what I'm also thinking is that maybe what I could do would be to add a random LFO to this sound, make it a bandpass filter, add a bit of resonance, have this move randomly in, let's say, quarter notes, add some weird out of phase syncy stuff. That's a technical term, by the way, out of phase syncy stuff. You'll find it in any manual. And that's going to sound like this. So of course the random repeats on the djembe are also doing some really interesting things. I've kind of repeated the trick, made it a slightly deeper thing. I haven't added the stereo phase, whatever I call it. But you can begin to see that suddenly the randomization, the playback options, all of the stuff that is just ticking around and being different every time encourages you to think creatively about something else you could do. So suddenly we'll start looking at sort of effects processing on some of this stuff as well. And suddenly it's all really interesting. I think that the step sequencer updates are without question my favorite addition within the Logic 12 universe, and I think they have got a lot of good things going on. There you go, I said it.